Streaming start.
Okay. Come on over.
Are you sure about that? I like standing here, actually. It's the Steven Hour. Hello, everybody. Is anyone on?
It doesn't look like it. All right.
Okay.
Now we're good. Let's go and have a great night. You want your donut?
No, that's all right. You can admire it.
Okay, thank you. Ghost.
We should maybe say something. Is anyone here? Hello.
Somebody's here.
Someone's here. Buenos noches. Are you kidding me with that right now? Hey, Edward.
All right, so yeah.
All right, good, thank you. We had a little glitch there, but now we are ready to roll. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay. If anyone's around, you know.
Let's have you move over a tiny bit.
Have me move over a tiny bit.
We want to see your beautiful face.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well that leads to hello, Ken. What is it? I don't understand.
All right, well, we're just not talking. We should talk.
Okay.
All right, guys, well, it is a busy week for us.
Busy.
We are starting, we are opening tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
We will be open tomorrow for the crazy mayhem, insanity basketball tournament that is.
Yeah, the amateur ball and hoop one and done extravaganza.
Yes.
Is that a good way of saying it?
I think that I'm sure that's not trademarked, so I think we can say that.
Yes, I've tried to think of the most Simpson-esque thing to say.
Yeah, so we will be opening tomorrow for this tournament of ball playing at the collegiate level, and yeah, so we'll be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we are ready to go. Unfortunately, the second floor museum will not be open. It's just not ready. It has nothing to do with me. Don't even point at me. I'm ready to go.
Oh, you're a little short today, which makes sense. We've all been going pretty crazy, guys, here at the Buffalo Naval Park.
Yes,
you know.
Very little sleep. We had our fundraiser last night.
We had one of our fundraisers, so we were on message and on point last night. We're here again tonight. Then we got to be here bright and early with bells on for tomorrow's opening. And as you can see, we have a different backdrop again today because we've been doing them downstairs in the first floor of our museum with the step and fetch behind us.
Step and repeat.
Step and repeat. and now the restaurant that leases from us, the Liberty Hound restaurant, will be opening. So they're downstairs cleaning and getting ready for tomorrow as well. And there's a lot of clanging and banging going on downstairs. So we decided to come up here today.
So John asked, are your opening days busy despite cooler March temperatures? Well, we hope so. We will know tomorrow. But it's supposed to be a high of 60 tomorrow. And
just like it was today.
Sunny, no clouds whatsoever. It's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. So we're hoping.
Yeah, I think I was here for the amateur ice, puck, stick, and net one and done tournament here a few years ago, and it seemed as though we would get about 60-70 people a day, but we are open to the public as well, and so it's not just for this amateur one and done event, but so we hopefully probably will get some people on Friday, certainly, because there's none of the competitions will be going on that day, but for Saturday and Thursday, I bet you we'll still get some people. And we've got some guys that are fans of ours and our YouTube channel that are local that they've already emailed saying they're going to come on board and visit, and so that's really nice. Will you guys, Ken, History X, will you guys be sleeping on board tonight? No, not tonight. But we did get the water turned on.
Yes, the water's on?
The water's on the ships.
All right,
that's nice.
You can use the facilities.
I could use the facilities, yes, which is very nice. In the wintertime, we cannot. So that's nice. Hey, Scott, how are you? Yeah, so we've got a lot going on. I'm sorry again about the radio silence with our YouTube channel. I have a lot of great ideas and I have them listed here, so I'll be reviewing those, and we're going to kind of you know, and I'll get to those over after we open and everything starts to smooth out, and we'll start to get back to them. But I've got, listen to these topics.
All right, let's hear them.
Fabulous. The sonar room on the Croker, which
Love it.
Yeah, which I was doing some work today on. It seems as though the sonar room that we saw in that YouTube video when I went down with Jim, the changing buckets or whatever we called it, that sonar room was the post 53 sonar room. The original sonar room would have been up in the forward torpedo tube, the forward torpedo room. And at least that's where we, from schematics and stuff, that's where I found it, in the forward torpedo room. And then that lower sonar room was probably the 1953 conversion. But I have to do a little more research onto that. Nuclear conversions on ships. So that's cool. We've talked about that, the nuclear capabilities, either propulsion or armament. Certainly one. Do you want to come on, sir?
Do you want to, our fearless leader's waving goodbye to us, but.
It's PM here. That's my new nickname for him. PM.
I know, I saw it in the email earlier.
Oh yeah, I did say it in the email. Okay, so everyone.
This is my working hours?
This is our president and CEO, Paul Marzello. So he was just checking out again. We're all putting in the midnight oil here. So it's about there you go. It's about a 5-second delay.
Yeah, that's
sorry I walked in front of the camera.
No, that's fine. That's all right. So do you want to say hello?
I just wanted to feel honored to be part of the Shane and Steven show, or is it the Steven and Shane show?
Steven and Shane.
No, it's Shane and Steven. See?
Oh, okay.
Well, welcome visitors. We're super excited that this social media network is starting to catch on, and it's doing some amazing things by bringing the information that we have here at the park to the world, and I appreciate your interest and hope it continues.
Thank you very much, PM.
Okay,
Have a good night, sir. All right, so as you can see, we're kind of all going to the wall here, you know, but we're going to be ready. And then next week for our hard opening, we have other things that will be opening, and we're going to be good. So
Ken has a question. If we had to track down the original location of the pre-53 sonar room, how would we identify that?
Thank you. Yeah, we're going back to our conversation about the sonar room on the Croker. And so what I've done was, one of the things I've cataloged in our collection is a 1946 submarine training manual it's almost not for the crew itself. It's almost for the public. It says these are the abbreviations, and what do these abbreviations mean? These are common terms that you would use. This is what happens on a daily basis on a ship. So I don't think it was for publication, but there's about 26 schematics in there that unfolding from the book itself that unfold.
Sounds like a great video idea.
It is. Well, yeah, you know, it is pretty cool. Maybe one of those mystery things.
Yeah. See.
And it shows the sonar room in the forward torpedo room. It shows there actually wasn't a room. It was like just against the aft bulkhead where Jim has his workstation now. If you know, he has that curtain there.
Yeah.
And it seems as though that's where the sonar equipment was. Now, in the 53 conversion, they wanted to lessen the disturbance from the engines themselves, and so they moved it down below and then built that BQR4 on the bow. So I'm wondering if that was part of the conversion, was actually creating a room. Because at the beginning of the war, it wasn't, sight was much better. Right. In the periscope or sonar, you typically tend to gravitate towards the periscope itself, just for that visual targeting. With that. So that's kind of how we think about that. But I didn't see in any of the schematics a sonar room down below down below the first deck there. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a great question, Ken. Thank you for that. Any other questions you guys have, just let us know. We'll answer them, but we'll continue on with topics.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Collisions. That was probably loud. We've talked about collisions before. I'm really interested in that because the Massachusetts is still here. And again, she scraped the Sully, I'll say that pretty badly. So I'd actually love to get to the Massachusetts and film where, because I bet you in that log we have where maybe it hit the Massachusetts. Decon system, sorry everybody, decontamination on board the Little Rock. They would have had the spray system that sprayed down all of the surface areas, you know, for
Now,
radioactivity.
What are some instances that they would need to be decontaminated?
Great question. I would think that if they were involved in a nuclear attack in some way, if there was a small yield nuclear weapon that would be detonated, you know, then you get all that radiation, you get all that nuclear fallout. And so this decontamination system would then be able to wash the system down while you're steaming along and at least make it a little more safe. Right? We don't know if it would be 100%, but at least for the crew to say, okay, we can get back out there. So
Scott says biological and nuclear. Biological too. That so Ken asks if we're using wireless Rode mics. The sound tonight is probably your best yet.
Really?
So there is a reason for that. So since we figured out how to use these new mics, we've been downstairs. This is the first time we're upstairs on the second floor of the museum.
Second time.
Building since we started using these mics. So it just might be better sound quality. It's a little bit more open than downstairs. So yeah, I mean the sound is, I mean that's most likely what it has to do with it. We are in a different location tonight than we usually are in.
Yeah.
If you had watched our very first episode, we were up here, but the mics were not working at that point. So always let us know when something is going wrong with our audio and video feed. It helps us out, because I know Shane just sits there and thinks about it in his head the whole time.
That's right. That's right, guys. You know, some of us think about different things. I think about our microphones. And how are they going to work this Wednesday?
Yeah,
right?
He does. He texted me in the middle of the night last night. It was about 3:30 in the morning, and he said,
are the mics ready?
Are the mics, are the batteries good? Everything good?
That's right. Yeah, good. That leads to, I had a really cool exchange with the Channel 7 ABC team.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
In Arkansas. So one of the teams for that competition that's here is the University of Arkansas, the Razorback.
Yes.
Or the Hogs.
I guess their chant, I think, it was Go Pigs.
It is one of their chants.
Go Pigs. I saw that a lot on Twitter.
They also have this Yeehaw Pigs something.
Oh, well, that sounds like something.
So they also have that. But the news team contacted us because they're based out of Little Rock, and they said, "Oh my God, we did a Google map, and all of a sudden we see the ship named after after Little Rock, Arkansas." And they came on board, and so we were on the Arkansas TV station last night in Little Rock, Arkansas. So that was good. We did it took about an hour and a half walking them around and finding the right spots, but the spot itself was about a 3-minute spot on their 6 o'clock news channel. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I talked a little bit about LCS-9, USS Little Rock, the littoral combat ship, and it almost made a liar out of me because they are probably going to decommission her this year, which is astounding.
It really is. So it was commissioned in
17. Oh my God, December of 17, so really it was like 18.
Right, so we're talking 5 years.
5 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it would be the USS Detroit, LCS 7, and the USS Little Rock. For the Navy's budget that they've submitted to Congress for their fiscal year, these were two that they've recommended to decommission.
Yeah.
And it's just like unbelievable.
And how old is the Detroit? You said?
I think it's just a few years older than the Little Rock. Maybe 15 instead of 17, or maybe it's 14. I don't know that offhand. But if you guys can believe that, if you guys are LCS fans, they are just, the propulsion system on them is really not good.
I mean, who's not an LCS fan, though?
That's right. It's very true. Who's not an LCS fan? Don't raise your hands. Leave us a comment. And now you see we have this really nice monitor here, so now we can both read without having to bend over and
Yeah,
look
so
at
we don't
grab
look
glasses.
as stupid as we usually do. Slightly less stupid.
But you know, the combining gear is the problem with these LCSs, right? And so they have gas turbines, diesel engines. And so they use this combining gear. And again, I wasn't an EM or anything like that, you know, or a machinist motor mate or a motor machinist mate. But that combining gear is really causing them a lot of problems. And the Navy said it's going to cost about $2.5 billion to bring them up to speed. And they said at $2.5 billion, we might as well just put them into reserve. So they would go into reserves.
Yeah.
You know, the Detroit and the Little Rock. I don't know if that means, you know, what it means for, say, bringing one here, but.
I mean, it only makes sense for us to get the Little Rock.
Yeah, I know, but.
I mean, and it would be really cool to have a modern day Navy
Of course,
ship,
yes,
you know?
of course.
So
I absolutely agree with that. That's fabulous.
I know the chances are slim to none, but maybe we can start a campaign.
Yeah, I would think, but being in reserve, they probably would need to keep it wherever it's going to be.
To be ready
Decommissioned.
for any.
Yes, out of commission in reserve. OCIR is what it's
Okay.
called. So they would probably need to have it at the ready. And that might be another 5 years, 8 years, something like that. But I really, right, if NAVSEA would waive their regulation of not giving ships anymore, that would be pretty fabulous. I didn't get to ride her when she was here, but I would love to see what that vessel looks like.
Yeah, we should probably work on your terminology there a little bit.
Why? What did I say?
Never mind.
What do we got?
We got some questions. Scott said, tour the sonar on the Little Rock. Ken asks, wait, did the Little Rock have a sonar room?
They did have, from my understanding, they had a sonar room. The CIC had radar, sonar, anti-submarine, computer. But to say they had a sonar room off the top, I haven't seen like a sonar room like you would see on Croker. I think all of it was combined, but they were mostly surface and air.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they had some.
I'm trying to see if I can pull anything up here right now. I don't see anything.
Yeah, their main things with the SPS-43, the SPS-30, and the Talos system, and the 49s back there, and the 2s back there. It was mostly surface and air. Anti-submarine warfare was probably minimal, but as a flagship, they would have to get that data from other ships, and then have the equipment to translate that from just electronics to something that people can visually see. So I'm pretty sure, that's a great question though.
Scott says that many CG-47 ships are going to be decommissioned also.
Is that Ticonderoga? Geez, you know, I always just focus on our 3 ships. That might be the Ticonderoga class, or if they're already, they might even already be out.
Yeah, he says the SQS-23.
SQS-23.
Long-range scanning type of search and attack sonar used for, this is going back to sonar. Okay.
Oh, the sonar, yeah. Check out the CG-47. That might be the Ticonderoga class, I think, maybe. Yeah, there's not many cruisers left.
Right. Yes, it is the Ticonderoga class.
Yeah, it would be nice. We might not have the berthing for that, but for the LCS we would, because they weren't as large as the Ticonderogas. But thank you, Scott. I mean, man, you are right on point with all of that stuff. You're a machine. You know, just to say the CG-47 class, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to take a gander at that. But, you know, usually when someone talks about the other ships, you know, I'm still trying to learn our 3 vessels, and the very disparate, right? The Gato, Cleveland, Galveston, and then the Fletcher. I mean, there's enough to learn just on that, and especially, you know, someone like me who hasn't done it since I was 5.
Right.
And like you know, you're learning as we kind of go along.
Oh, absolutely. Every day.
She's at the breakers. Yes, she's at the breakers. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, that's fabulous. What else we got going on? There's a lot of them. Questions?
Let's see, Ken has, I know the USS Indianapolis did not have sonar, but that was a Portland class, not a Cleveland class.
Correct. She was constructed in the 30s, right? So I think 1935 she may have been commissioned. So that was well before, and even during the war itself, things were changing around, right? I mean, things were updating, you know, monthly it seemed.
Right.
Right, and then coming in and getting retrofitted with new equipment and things, but I don't want to go into the
That's technology though, right? You get a new phone and by the time you turn it on, the new one's out.
That's right, which is why I stay with my light phone, everybody. The smartest dummy phone I've ever had.
Okay, well, they're not paying us.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so. Sorry about that, everybody. I know, sorry.
If they want to, they can.
Yes.
I'm not sure, I think that's supposed to say in Brownsville, Texas.
Okay.
Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, it says I'm Brownsville, Texas, but maybe it's in Brownsville, Texas. Anyway, that's cool. Yeah, so I think the LCSs, they were supposed to have a 25-year lifespan.
Okay.
And they're only getting 6 years out of her, you know, something like that. You know, 6 years. We knew there was a problem when when Little Rock was commissioned here in Buffalo, and they started going up the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they got stuck.
They got stuck in Montreal, right?
Yeah, they got stuck in Montreal, and I don't know if that was intentional, but they couldn't move, they couldn't break through the ice, and that probably had something to do with the propulsion system even back then. So, you know, Wisconsin, you know, they've made good products, but there's maybe something going wrong with their combining gear there on the with the diesel, with the fuel, with the gas turbines and the diesel engines itself. So yeah, that could be an exciting thing that we'll follow up on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah.
Okay, some other things. We are going to have John Epps from the USS Slater.
Yes, very excited. Our neighbor,
yes,
if you will, from Albany.
Yeah.
This will be our first shot at having somebody via satellite.
I know, it's really cool.
Via Zoom, so we're looking forward to that. We're really hoping that you know, that works out.
Yeah, and Ken from History X supplied us with that link.
Yes, he
for
did.
For that interface. So we're really excited. We've talked to John. If you haven't checked out their channel, they do one video a week, and it's about them getting ready to open. I think they're opening April 6th. So they have some nice videos that they've recently, you know, because like sometimes it happens, they did videos 2 years ago, and then there's not anything for 6, 7, 8 months, and now they're slowly beginning to bring back once a week videos showing the work that they're doing to get her ready to open on April 6th.
Yeah, that's, oh, he's right here.
Oh, hello, John.
Hi, John. Yeah, we're very excited to have you on. I think it's great networking with other ships, and especially one that's so close to us. I think is something we're looking forward to doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I didn't realize John was on. Thanks for saying hi. Hello, everyone. Well, John is on. So we're going to talk. DEs. We're going to talk about, you know, probably a lot about the Slater herself, you know, some of her history of being in Albany, and just, you know, what their duties were as a destroyer escort, and some of the great stories of the Slater and other DEs, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, certainly Taffy 3 and Samuel B. Johnson.
Yeah, we are both excited for that as well. It's going to be something cool, something we haven't done yet. So change it up a little bit. Seneca's here.
Hello, Seneca.
He said that the flags are cool. Do you want to give a little?
Who said that?
Seneca.
Oh, thanks, Seneca. Sure. So this flag here was captured from a sinking. Oh, what is the name of it? Kyoban?
Is it up there?
Yeah, Kaibokan, right? The Type D class Kaibokan.
Yes, the Kaibokan. We're probably butchering that, but yes.
Yeah, so that was like a coastal vessel, and it was vessel number 66, and this was sitting in our collection, just sitting in a box. And so actually on the hoist, it does list Ship 66, and then it didn't have a name, but it said Kaibakan and Ship 66. All right, so I actually took a close-up picture and sent it to the University at Buffalo's Japanese department. Oh. And I said, hey, I'm Shane from the Naval Park. Can you translate this for us?
Yeah.
And so he did, and then that led me down the rabbit hole of that coastal patrol boat.
How cool is that?
That's very cool, isn't it?
That's really cool.
Yeah, and that was right when I started here about 4 years ago. This, you probably can't see that one very well, but it has writing on it, and those are called good luck flags. All right, also the Japanese Yosagagi Hinomaru. All right, that is also the Japanese translation of like a good luck flag. And these are things that the infantry would carry, and it is signed by friends, family, co-workers, wishing that soldier well. These were very big trophy items for the American forces, right? They would scrounge the perished bodies of the Japanese soldiers looking for these things to bring them back home.
Okay.
And now, as I have on the sign, when I made the sign, there is something called the Obon Society, O-B-O-N, and what they are doing is finding the families of the soldiers, and they are returning them to their family. So that was something that I was thinking about maybe in 5 or 6 years, was to contact the Obon or OBON Society to say, hey, we've got one. They will probably translate everything that they could read and try and locate the descendants or the current family members of this person. And that would be a great story. I would hate to lose it, but that would be a great story.
I mean, you get a lot of that, even when people donate stuff. You know, it's because they want their family stuff to be shown, but sometimes, you know, it's reversed. For as much good fortune we get with people donating things to our exhibits and stuff, being able to give one back to a family that might not even have known it existed.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's awesome.
That is cool.
Shout out to the Obon Society.
Yeah, very true. And then we have an ensign here. It's, yep, right behind Stephen, an ensign flag from a sub-chaser, PC 586. All right, so the signalman, one of the signalmen on board was from Western New York, and his son had this flag in his collection, and the captain apparently gave it to him because they were going through a hurricane, you know, one of those typhoons in World War II, and this was the flag that went through the hurricane, and so he didn't know much about it other than the story he heard from his father. And so I don't know if you can see a little of the weatherware to the right of Stephen, but that was donated, you know, about 3 years ago or so. So we've got the family name, and because he had to be outside signaling with the fleet, you know, that the captain gave, or the commander gave him that flag because of, you know, being outside in that weather, you know, probably throwing up and things like that, you know. So, yeah, and sub-chasers, you know, so that's the PC 586. Yep.
Seneca says Dr. Alexander Clark might come to you guys in June. He is visiting Haida.
Oh, yeah, the ship in Hamilton.
Hamilton, Ontario?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they have, I think it's a destroyer. We've been wanting to work with them and do a comparison video, but you know, for the lockdown and stuff, they were not working. It's part of their National Park Service, I think, like the Canadian version of the National Park Service. So it's the HMCS.
Pretty cool.
Haida.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we need to go there.
Well, we do. Yeah.
It's like a 45-minute drive.
But guys,
from us.
I got to know, who the hell is Dr. Alexander Clark?
Well, I'm on his page right now. He is a naval historian. His PhD examined the development of the Royal Navy's aviation, the strategy, procurement, doctrine, aircraft, and ship design in the 1920s and 1930s. It's carried out under the amazing Andrew Lambert at KCL. This is who he worked for doing his doctorate.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should reach out to him. And they say Drac is coming as well.
He's going to Texas.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's yeah. We talked about working with Drek NFL. Listen, guys. I mean, really, it's been just nuts with our opening, and getting the 3 ships ready, trying to get the upstairs here ready, getting our hangar building ready, all of our flags. So we really have not had a lot of time to do very much else. And then, of course, to glad hand and kiss babies and press flesh, like we've been doing, at various, not just last night, but at other times.
Yeah.
The weekends we've had to come in and things like that. So it's been a lot, but I plan on, once we get into that flow again, then I plan on reaching out to more people. With John on Adolf Hitler's birthday, April 20th. I might also, I passed around a digital painting that someone did of the Sullivans. I passed that around yesterday. I was contacted by this guy who does digital painting. Now, I don't know what that process is, but I said, hey, it's a really nice picture of the Sullivans. It's pretty stormy, World War II. So I worked with him on the profile, the World War II profile, because he had some things that were...
That was really, really cool. I didn't know, I was like, what's digital art? This is some guy just put a Photoshop filter on it, and I opened it, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's an actual...
This is really cool.
Yeah.
It looks like a painting.
Yes.
And it tells a story. You could tell that it was created piece by piece, as opposed to just... so that was
Photoshop thing or something.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really cool. So I was actually wondering if to invite him so he can talk about digital painting, because I would like to contract with him to do one for the Little Rock and one for the Croker too.
Yeah. Can we show it?
Yeah, I don't know how we can do that.
I can show it. Do you want
please.
to show it?
Yeah, well, if we can show it, in a roundabout way, it's pretty cool. So I had to work with him on the World War II profile, because it was a World War II digital painting. But it's a pretty cool process. So, is there a way that you can just put it up on the?
No, I wish, but no.
Okay, so maybe he's going to walk the computer?
No, I'm just going to see if you guys could see it here. Let's put the brightness up.
Yeah, put the brightness all the way up.
All right, let's see if you guys can see that. So, yeah, you want this guy to do the Croker and the Little Rock?
I would like to. Oh, tilt the monitor. Yeah, sorry, guys. We have about a delay here, so...
Epic fail. Sorry, Robert.
Epic fail.
We're not streaming, that's why.
Oh, what happened? Okay, we're back.
We're back.
All right,
I don't know what was going on here, but...
Okay.
What is going on?
Where does it say? It says we have an excellent connection.
Okay.
You have to keep it anyway. So there it is. It's the Sullivans, coming out of a wave.
It says we never went out, so let's just keep going. I mean, our screen looks like it's buffering.
Yeah,
if we're just going, that's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that was the... sorry, I'm reading and trying to speak at the same time.
I would love for him to make the Little Rock, the Little Croker, and then bring him on the show to say, how do you do a digital painting?
Right.
What is the process of that? And so that's someone I'd like to bring on as well. So that's it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I'd like to maybe get his permission. I'm asking his permission to maybe put it on a t-shirt or a mug or something like that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So Ken asked, when going through boxes,
yes,
what is the craziest, most breathtaking item you've discovered? And
okay.
He asked if it was the flags behind us. Now, you want to go first?
No, you go first.
I don't know if it would be breathtaking, because it is, symbolic of the evils of World War II.
Okay.
But the banner that we received, that was donated to us, and a lot of these artifacts that we touch every day, or handle, they're American. We know what our country is, and we see the same thing often, right? Not like you've seen one flag, you've seen them all, but we've seen lots and lots of American flags that have been on different ships. So when a Nazi banner comes into our possession, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it really is the personification of, everything that we fought against.
Right.
And you're right, to hold it, it almost is a little breathtaking. You're like, oh my God, when you open up the box and it's a 6.5 foot banner, of course, red with the swastika, it's just like, wow. So it does take your breath away a little bit. And then the point of how to describe it, right? If I'm going to put it on display, which I really want to, what is the sign that you are going to put up with it? So that's always, you have to say it, you have to tell it right? So I'm kind of formulating the language now a little bit, and hopefully, I don't know if it will go up this season with the other work that's going on up here, but it is something. I mean, I got a helmet from a gunnery guy on a bomber, and like the bullet hole went through the helmet, but it was higher than his skull.
So
So it didn't, he didn't die from it, but I mean, just like, oh, that's something. I mean, there's thousands of things, and then even just getting we got a gray lady uniform. That's really, because each artifact represents some part of some conflict.
Yeah.
So even having a Red Cross Gray Lady uniform is like, oh my God, because they were so instrumental in Europe and stateside to our recovering soldiers and sailors.
Yeah.
And they would write letters home, and they would do things for people that...
Ken is asking for a little bit more information on what a Gray Lady uniform is.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ken. Well, the Gray Ladies were an arm of the Red Cross. And it was almost like a seersucker uniform, and it was gray and white stripe. Usually seersucker is blue and white. But, and then it had the Red Cross symbol, and then of course they had the nurse's cap at the time, the white nursing cap. And so what they would do is they would be moral support for our convalescing or injured sailors and soldiers. As I just mentioned, right, they would write letters home, they would spend time with them, they would play cards with them, they would get them what they wanted. So they weren't nurses on the medical end, but they were like nurses on the mental end, and keeping their spirits up and taking them for walks and things like that. And so it was an arm of the Red Cross, which is so important, and today with the mental health of soldiers and sailors. So that was like they were doing that work without actually saying they were doing that work back then.
So we have had a couple comments. So Laura, I do apologize. I tried to put it into the picture into the comment section, but I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Hello, Laura.
I did figure out how to make a poll, though. We could put a poll in the comment section.
I like that.
But couple questions or comments about the Nazi flag.
Right, and Robert just piped in too about a double, the two sides.
So, and then John said that must be a tricky thing to display. And we should say that it is not on display yet.
It is not.
It is in our collection,
Yep.
but it has not been displayed as of right now. Although we do have one thing that will be opening. The exhibit that's opening on the 26th does have German insignia on it. And
just the language of the time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But it's an interesting thing. So interpreting the items, I think that's a really important thing to discuss, right? So when you have, let's just take, I'm not trying to take like political ideologies or anything, but like you have the Confederate soldiers, statues, sorry. What do you do with them when they're taken down, or do you leave them up? And how do you tell the story of why they're there, right? Mm-hmm. And what they represented or something like that is a very hard thing to do. And sometimes things are just handled hastily, right? Mm-hmm. So it really takes a long time and a lot of thought into how do we explain these items? We have an item in our possession. How do we explain what these items stood for and still be able to display them at the same time?
Yes, and I think I agree that it could be a little tense, but I think once you chart your course, you're there.
Yeah.
Right, and you can then defend it, and that's the important thing, is not only just being able to display an item, but then to be able to say, this is why we're displaying it, and this is what we're making it represent. Here's PM again, everybody. Oh, look at this peach.
Brought us some pizza.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Are you sure? All right. Thanks, sir. Good. We have some high five. We got some pizza. Okay. But for this, for this Nazi flag, I already kind of have, like, the title of the signage might be something similar to symbol of hate, or like that, symbol of genocide, symbol of anti-Semitism, and then I was planning, including the sign, we do have some primary source photographs that aren't made public of concentration camps, and maybe including the concentration camp photos in with the signage to say that this symbol means nothing but death, despair, destruction. It doesn't mean anything else.
Right. I think that we are a museum that likes to push the envelope a little, and I think it's important to display these things. I think it's important if you want to understand history, how it happened, you need to show what happened, because that's how history gets lost, right? So we don't want to forget about, or we don't want to pretend certain things didn't happen. Right?
You can't.
So sometimes you have to show the uncomfortableness that exists, right? And all we could do really is learn from our mistakes, learn from their mistakes, benefit from other people's mistakes or our own mistakes, because, history happened regardless.
Yes.
And we're not afraid to show everything.
Right.
We're not. So.
Now the interesting thing is, for this banner, this Nazi banner, they would not be able to display it in Germany. Their denazification
yes,
thing
that is correct.
is you can get arrested for having swastikas, and any American to see that should think nothing but death, despair, destruction when they see that flag.
So we have a couple of things coming in, so I just want to...
Yes, please.
Seneca says, I kind of want a federal monument museum where all the ones that got taken off their old place get put. And I'm actually not opposed to that. As long as you enter into that hall and you realize
that that's what it is.
What it is. You can't be like, Robert E. Lee was this great man.
Right.
Like, you have to say he was, and you have to be, no opinions. You have to be factual about it. He was a general in the Confederate Army.
Yes.
He did this, he did that. And it's important to only include the facts. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're coming from, whether you're against the Confederate statues or for them, make sure that you're only using actual facts to make sure we're telling the proper story.
Correct. You can tell, especially for the Civil War, there are two very disparate sides.
Very. It's what I wrote my master's thesis on, was the lost cause.
Oh, that's
and it's very interesting. I won't bore you guys with it, but if you ever have a chance to check out the lost cause of the Civil War, it's crazy stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Reconstruction was a weird time for both the North and the South.
Very interesting. I'd like to learn more. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, we got stuff going on here. John from Slater says, the most interesting I've come across so far in our collection is probably a set of keys clipped to the pants from a survivor of the Samuel B. Roberts.
Wow, fabulous.
Yeah.
That, you can't get much more primary source than that.
Yeah.
Right? And I hope, John, that you have his story as well, that you know who the person was. But yeah, that is... What an amazing story. My God, what do you think those keys can tell?
Right.
Even just a set of keys. It could say, these are what compartments they were for, what lockers they were for, and then that's a way of telling the story of the vessel. Wow. That's
really
great.
awesome. And then he also did say, closest thing we have to your example is probably a flag recovered from the pilot of a kamikaze.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but those are the things, like, you have to display them. You have to show them. You have to tell the story.
Yeah. Because that's about the ship.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about the story that we are trying to tell.
Yeah. What else do we have here?
Seneca says, okay, so Seneca is in Germany. He lives in Germany. So apparently you can show a Nazi flag in Germany as long as it is in an educational context.
That's right.
So museums are allowed to display Nazi.
Okay, thank you.
paraphernalia.
Seneca, that is fabulous. I love having you here. At the very least, just for that, because I may have read that at one time or forgotten it, but you have that hands-on knowledge that most of us do not.
Yeah, so that's cool. And I always thought, like you had said,
Yeah,
I thought
just-
that you
you're
cannot
arrested
display it
right away.
But I know that there are like, for all of you gamers out there, like there's video games that take place during World War II.
Okay.
That I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Seneca, I know like the Wolfenstein games, I believe
Okay.
that they're either banned or they have to censor it. And again, I could be wrong, but I would think that that would fall into that category of displaying it.
Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh my God! I was playing that in the
Oh,
80s,
they
or-
still make those games.
Oh yeah,
They're
see, well,
fantastic.
I'm out of that. Thank you, Seneca. That's so important to have that first-hand knowledge that you can bring us.
Absolutely.
What else are we here?
So he also
sorry.
said that the most impactful museum he ever visited was I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that.
Dachau. That's the concentration camp.
Okay, yep. So, okay, concentration camp memorial site. I'm sure that's got to be powerful. I couldn't.
Yeah, I need to get to Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen. It would be a tough. This is not something I would go with too many people.
Yeah.
You know, because they have to be ready to experience that as well. But that is one of my probably top 5 things to go visit are those Holocaust museums. Even the Holocaust Museum in New York City, I need to get to. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you enter the museum and you are put into like a rail car. And you're assigned like a number for the rest of the museum. I mean, talk about powerful.
Yeah.
Just the horrendousness. Yeah, I mean, I can't even, I get all choked up.
Sounds like a trip we should take. Going to New York City.
Well, New York City. I thought you were saying, let's go to Germany and Poland.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to take a day trip to New York City and film live from there.
Okay, and then I also need to go, if we go there, I need to go to the Tenement Museum as well.
We'll hit up all the museums.
Oh, okay.
We'll hit up,
It is New York.
we'll hit up my
The
favorite,
9/11 was,
my favorite museum, the Museum of Natural History. I know
oh
that.
yeah, you love that one.
I do love that one.
Yeah, he's from downstate there, so.
Let's see. So John said the keys were for the carpentry shop
Oh, nice.
and probably the only artifact from the Sammy B.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I feel that same way about, I found, again, going through the collections, you don't know what you're finding, and there's boxes everywhere. I open up a box and I find letterhead from the Juno.
Wow.
And that is, I was like taken aback because of course we all know the fate of the Juno, like the Sammy B, and if I can call it that, John, thank you. And knowing that it went down, how much stuff was sent off the ship before she sank, right? So the Juno, I was like, USS United States ship Juno, commanding officer, because it was a letter from Captain Swenson to one of his children. And I said, there cannot, in the world right now, there cannot be that many
Swenson's?
no pieces of letterhead.
Oh.
Right?
I thought that's where you were going.
Swenson's, woo! But, just there cannot be that many pieces of letterhead that made it off the ship, like official United States ship Juno. And that really was a breathtaking thing as well.
Yeah, it's already 8:51.
Oh
Can you
boy.
believe it?
Well,
I feel like we started off a little slow.
We did.
And then it just like all of a sudden.
Okay, so for the work being done for this week, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when we are open, we have most of the Little Rock mostly will be open. There's only one space, and that's my fault. That will not be ready, the Admiral's Quarters.
Right, but it will be ready for opening.
It will be ready for opening day, or hard opening. We've cleaned, we've painted, did a little painting, not like the Slater, Mr. Epps.
Really? You're going to start a fight on
No,
YouTube?
but I mean, they're masking everything and spray paint. I mean, it's.
Well, they got like 2 weeks on us though.
Yeah, and
So-
the weather must be a little different, you know, because it would be a little harder to paint. But yeah, so the Sullivans again, she's just not ready to be seen below. You see a little bit of the first platform, everyone, so that's going to be the platform right below the main deck. You're going to go past IC and gun plot, past the engineering space, and you're going to head right back up to the main deck. The O1 and the O2 levels will be available. But the engineering space, the fire room, the mess deck, the berthings, they're still off limits due to the work.
And unfortunately, we don't know when those will be open.
Yeah.
We really don't. But it's part of preserving the ship.
Absolutely.
I mean, this ship needs to be around. Like Kelly said last night, she hopes that she could bring her grandchildren here one day.
Yes,
to see the
absolutely.
ship of her uncles, or no, sorry, great uncles.
Yeah, her grandfather and great uncles.
Yes. So she hopes that she can do that one day, and that's our responsibility to make sure that she can, and to make sure that you guys can come see.
Yep. And I want to push the Buffalo Naval Park to move what the COD did. Okay, the COD dry docked. When did they dry dock? During their summer season when they're open.
Yeah.
And I talked to Paul about that. I said, geez, you know, this is your season, right? You're not open in the winter like us. And he said, we're willing to sacrifice all of that money to make sure that the COD is ready for next season and the next 50 seasons.
Right.
So they're willing to sacrifice that income, and you know, just the press that they would get, or the social media of people visiting her, because it's more important to preserve the vessel. And so we're doing that a little bit with the Sullivans.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
As good old Senior Chief Branding used to say, there's no money in museums.
Well, yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, speak for yourself, buddy.
So we do have a couple of things I do want to say. John said, yep, the feeling of holding those types of things is priceless. It's why we love what we do. And it really is. It really is. There's no other way to explain it. Seneca says the oldest artifact I ever held in my hand was about a 3,000-year-old piece of pottery I found in a field. That's pretty crazy. Now, have you ever been to the Cravens collection at UB?
No.
So the University of Buffalo has this collection called the Cravens Collection, and Craven was a collector of artifacts. And when I think when his wife donated it after he passed, or maybe it was his wife's collection. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Anyway, it's artifacts, and like there's no rhyme or reason. He just collected artifacts. Some of those things were, you know, a couple hundreds or maybe thousands of years old. And if you're ever up in the Buffalo area visiting us, you could always look at.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The UB. It's on. It's just across Main Street from UB South. So University of Buffalo has a great collection of artifacts.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, Seneca.
Well, Seneca, we do know that it was not Roman pottery, probably, right? Because those Romans never conquered Germany. Yeah. And that, you know, that set the Teutoburg Forest, that set the stage for the rest of Europe for the next 2,000 years. Imagine that. I love Roman history. But imagine if the Romans would have conquered Germany. All of a sudden they would have been like France. Latin Romance language, they would have had a system in place, and since they didn't conquer Germany, Germany still kind of grew into that, you know, very isolated, and not isolated in a negative way, but fiercely independent, and we might not have had that East-West divide if the Romans just didn't get slaughtered at the Teutoburg Forest. That's another place I'd love to go visit. 9 AD, I think it was that battle. I don't know.
I know we're off topic here, but
we're really off topic.
Now we're talking about times centuries ago. I watched last night The Last Duel, about the last duel in French.
Oh, interesting.
Whatever.
When was it? Like 1950?
Empire. 1380. Yeah, it's the last duel. And the way it is. Back then, they used to do that as a way to figure out a court case, right?
Oh my.
So basically, if you couldn't figure out who was telling the truth, the two people would duel, and whoever won was guided by the hand of God, and that's how they knew that it was true. In the movie The Last Duel, believe it was Ridley Scott that directed it.
Okay.
And it came out not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago. And Ben Affleck is in it, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, who I absolutely love.
Really?
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. And have you ever seen Rashomon?
No.
Okay, so there's this thing called the Rashomon effect, and they did it in that style, which is a film from, I believe, 1950 or 1954, or it was an Akira Kurosawa film. Anyway,
Interesting.
Totally off topic, but
yeah, that's cool.
If you get a chance, it's on HBO Max. It's called The Last Duel. It's really cool to learn about.
Yeah, okay, I will
history
look
like
that up. What else we got going on?
So much going on.
Yeah, we got a few minutes left, right?
Yeah. John says they run the heat 24/7 when they're painting, so I'd imagine.
Good. It makes sense. I just figured, that eastern seaboard, and I know you're not really on the eastern seaboard, but it always is a little bit warmer than the interior. Like you grew up, right? Like you never really get too much snow, but it's always like 40 and rainy in the wintertime.
Yeah, it was never this
It was
cold.
never like 10 degrees like it's here.
No.
Right? So I just kind of figured maybe your weather just being a little bit warmer, maybe up the Hudson there, but... Yeah, it is about 1,000 years before the Romans, absolutely. But still, I mean, we know that it's not Roman pottery, at least.
Hoist said he's sorry that he's late tonight. Hey, you're
hey,
here.
Hoist.
We're happy.
Yeah.
Don't do a sad face. Ken's gonna watch the movie. Awesome. Seneca says the area I live in speaks German, but with Romance influence, Bavaria.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the Bavarian Motor Works. Hey, man, and I love Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk is one of my favorite groups. Love them.
Yeah, you also think New Order is better than Joy Division.
I do think New Order is much better than Joy Division. Anyway, big fan of Kraftwerk.
All right, it is 8:58. We do have to wrap it up.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
We are sorry.
We got the topics about the Little Rock. We got topics about, I gave you some of the lists of some of the videos coming up, the Little Rock Armory, the radio rooms on Sullivan's. I'm sorry, I was supposed to get to that in February. I did not. The collisions, decontamination, so. And then please come and visit us when you're around.
This was a good, Seneca just said cool stream, and I think this was a fun one. We talked about some cool stuff, and again, it's because you guys asked the questions. So, I mean, we couldn't do it without you guys. So
and we're jacked up on caffeine.
You are.
Usually we have water, but I had needed a DP tonight.
But thanks, as always, thanks for coming, guys. We got a long day tomorrow. Long weekend, long 2 weeks, really.
Yeah,
long
it's
week and a half. It's going to be a little.
It's going to be long.
Little nuts. So, our next.
Oh, we talked about March 30th.
Yes, March 30th will be our next 2000 Watch Live regular episode.
As opposed to?
March 26th is our opening day. And we will be live about 15 minutes before, and we will live stream the whole opening. So if you guys want to check it out, that would be something to check out. We're going to live stream our opening ceremony. We have some guest speakers, maybe a couple politicians. I mean, here's some words from our chairman and our CEO, and really just, an opening ceremony. It's not very long, but we will be live for about 15 minutes before the ceremony starts, so you could see them setting up behind us, and we're just gonna.
So about 9:30.
Yeah, about 9:30, Saturday, March 26th. That will be technically our next video, but our next regular episode will be March 30th.
Yeah, if that's all right.
Absolutely. So March 30th will be our next regular episode. Husky'd love to see that. Yeah, for those of you who aren't around here and don't have the chance to see the park. The opening day ceremony, at least you get to experience that, and just something we could do for you guys, so you could, we really want to keep you involved, so. And again, we can't thank you guys enough for being so supportive. We have gotten about 30 subscribers in the last 2 days. Fantastic. Which is very nice for us. So no one, for the 28 and 28, we got less than our normal average, but for March, we've bumped it up a little bit. So I guess not seeing my face every day is better for subscribers. Yeah, maybe. But anyway, we're getting close to 9,000. Unfortunately,
1,900.
I still have to see your face every day.
So we're getting closer to 900. We have about 1,898, I think. So we're getting to, if we can get to that 3,000,
Guys,
we're going to have a party on board.
Party.
Yeah, that's right. The giveaways.
Also, we will be giving away 2 tickets
Yes.
on opening day for any time you want to use them
Yep.
during the year. You know, just
Maybe we'll throw in an Admiral's Pass too, which is for a whole family.
oh.
Yeah, or like, 2 parents, 2 kids, I think it's up to. So we'll throw in an Admiral's Pass or 2.
Yeah, Rick
as well.
says he hopes the weather holds for the weekend. It's actually supposed to be beautiful tomorrow and 60, and I believe Friday is still pretty nice. Saturday it's supposed to rain
Oh, okay.
a lot.
Well, yeah.
But hey, 2 out of 3, right?
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna head out. Thanks for all the great things. Thanks for all the great show comments. We appreciate it. And as always, go to bed, Cash.
That's right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thanks for all your support. And again, I'll try and continue to work on all these videos as we kind of smooth out the time. Thank you.
Thanks, John. He said best of luck with opening. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
You too.
See you guys soon.